Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the main news on Camnet TV, coming to you live on Top Start on the 106 on CanStream app. We are also streaming live on Facebook, Camnet TV, as well as our YouTube channel, Camnet TV. Here are the headlines. Lungu died with his immunity intact. HH. KWACHA gains boosts economic outlook. EAZ. SEC has lost public trust. CAAC. In international news, Trump confirms ceasefire between Israel and Iran, ending 12-day conflict. And in sports news, Copper Queens hold mobility session. Details shortly after this break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
With the news in detail, my name is Sylvia Zulu. Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has disclosed that he was informed of the passing of former President Edgar Chagwa Lungu shortly after it occurred, but chose not to make a public announcement until the family had been formally engaged. President Hichilema says that upon receiving the news, he directed the Secretary to the Cabinet and his team to reach out to the late President's family, who at the time declined formal engagements. He explains that given the circumstances, it would have been inappropriate for the state to issue a statement without the family's involvement and consent. Speaking at State House during a courtesy call by civil society organizations, CSOs, President Hichilema dismissed claims that the government delayed in responding to the news of Dr. Lungu's death, stating that an official statement was released promptly following confirmation from the family, contrary to reports suggesting that it took government 48 hours.
In our case, my colleague was in the hands of the family, medication issues around. I knew he had passed on very early in the morning of the 5th of June. I decided to say nothing until we consulted the family. And I reached out to the Secretary of Cabinet, my team around. I said, I cannot announce the death before the family is engaged. Family refused to engage us, subject for another conversation. While we were still struggling to do that, the family made a public announcement. And once they made a public announcement, that's the time I said, that's confirmation. It shouldn't have been like that, but it's like that. And the same day, the President issued a statement. I didn't take 48 hours, as people said. The report is said. Why am I saying this today? I think it's important as citizens for you to be aware of this information, because I scan what's going on social media a lot of times. So that's the circumstance that we find ourselves in, but the point is that that's our desire to bury him. I know amongst yourselves there's probably polarization of views, but really, he was not an ordinary citizen. He was president.
The Community Action Against Corruption, CAAC, says the Anti-Corruption Commission has lost public trust due to its selective and unprofessional handling of graft cases. The civic organization was reacting to the lukewarm response by the public to the SEC's recent raid at the home of Ndola Mayor Jones Kaliati. CAAC Chief Executive Officer Brighton Tembo says that in the past, particularly shortly after the August 2021 general election, similar operations used to attract strong public support. He observed, however, that the same is no longer the case as citizens now respond with skepticism and resentment. Mr. Tembo further noted that the ACC has become its own worst enemy by undermining public confidence through its perceived bias in the selection of cases.
You know, the lukewarm reaction of Zambians towards the conduct of the Anti-Corruption Commission is visible everywhere, as it was witnessed when the Anti-Corruption Commission went to conduct the operation at the house of Ndola Mayor to search for whatever they wanted to do. But the public, instead of approving that, they show lukewarm response to that and some degree of disapproval. This is because the Anti-Corruption Commission now is known to be an institution which is very selective, an institution which is conducting itself not in a professional manner, but a very selective manner in terms of corruption fight. So people are comparing. You rush to Ndola Mayor, but you failed to act on all the corruption allegations, the Financial Intelligence Center report, and everything. So when the Anti-Corruption Commission continues like this, then public disapproval will always be order of the day concerning their operations. Even when their operations are normal and they are supposed to be conducted, members of the general public will perceive that not to be genuine corruption fight. So the Anti-Corruption Commission has a lot of work to do, looking at the way it has conducted itself in the past, almost the past 2 years, where it has completely failed to act on corruption that concerns people who are connected to the powers that be. This is now the consequences. The members of the general public will not approve whatever the commission is doing. So the commission must first start by rebuilding its reputation in the eyes of Zambians. That way we can move forward in the corruption fight. But at the moment, there is serious low public approval concerning their operations.
The Economics Association of Zambia, EAZ, says the recent appreciation of the kwacha is a result of improving macroeconomic fundamentals and is a strong signal of growing stability and confidence in the Zambian economy. EAZ President Dr. Oswald Mungule says a combination of strong tax inflows, increased mining exports, and reduced import demand are helping to strengthen the local currency and support national development. Dr. Mungule notes that the simultaneous collection of quarterly and annual direct taxes in mid-June 2025 has significantly boosted the supply of US dollars in the economy, easing exchange rate pressures. He says this, coupled with increased metal exports and firm mining production, has given the kwacha a strong footing against external shocks. Republican President Hakainde Hichilema says that the late 60th Republican President Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu is the only former head of state in Zambia to have died with his presidential immunity intact. Speaking at State House during a courtesy call by the leadership of the United Church of Zambia UCZ, President Hichilema emphasized that it would only be befitting for the late president to be buried in his homeland. He described the ongoing standoff over burial arrangements as unfortunate, particularly during a period meant for national mourning and reflection. President Hichilema stressed that the government has, however, remained committed to ensuring a dignified state funeral and that any decision to bury the late president outside the country should not be misinterpreted as a lack of willingness on the part of the state, but because of other issues beyond its control.
My colleague, sixth president, is the only president who left public office. Two died in office. But those who left public office and lived on, is the only one who died with his immunity intact. I know you may have not paid attention to that. President Kawanda's immunity was taken away by President Chiluba. President Chiluba's immunity was taken away by President Manawansa. President Manawansa died in office. President Sata died in office. President Banda's immunity was taken away by the people. You may have forgotten that. This is the first president who died with his immunity. I never got enticed to process removal citizens can honor him, who elected him twice in the high office of the presidency. It will not be because this government didn't want to. It's because of other issues beyond our control. I thought I owe this to you, Bishop Chulu, and his gracious team.
Western Province Minister Kapelwa Bangweta has commended the ongoing constitutional amendment consultations for being transparent and inclusive. Speaking during the main consultative and sensitization meeting held at Akam's Gardens in Mongu, Bangweta praised the Ministry of Justice for ensuring that the process captures the voices of citizens, particularly those at the grassroots level. Meanwhile, Minister of Justice Princess Kasune reaffirmed the government's commitment to broad-based participation. She noted that similar consultations had already taken place in several provinces and reiterated President Hakainde Hichilema's vision for a democratic, people-driven process.
The proposed Constitution Amendment Bill 7 of 2025. However, to achieve this, there is need for more sensitization. And with this perception, Minister of Justice Princess Kasune conducted the sensitization meeting with different stakeholders in Mongo to review on some issues pertaining to the amendments.
It's very critical. We should not indirectly become one party, but encourage other divergent views, and that is why your Ministry of Justice, on behalf of the executive, needed to be objective on this issue and really look at the bigger picture, especially when it comes to delimitation. A lot of people who are affected are people in rural areas, which may not be the reality of those in the capital city. And hence why sometimes you have seen the conversation go in another direction, because your reality in Western Province and especially those in rural areas may not be the same. And so we ask that your lived experience, your voices are critical to shaping this constitutional reform process.
Speaking earlier is Western Province Minister Kapelwa Bangweta, who attributed the importance of the amendments of the bill.
Any amendments to it must reflect the will of the people and their aspirations and their values. That's why meetings of this nature consult each other are important. It is on this basis that we want to commend you as the Minister and the Ministry for leading this special conversation in such a transparent and participatory manner.
Meanwhile, others who spoke are Local Council Chairperson Marachira Reson and the Mwandi Council Chairperson Robert Simwenda.
Amendment bill, due to the fact that indeed, since then, the persons with disabilities have never been considered. And right now, as I can see, we don't even have any representation in Parliament. So therefore, we are having a lot of challenges where we don't have people to represent us.
We must all add our voices to it because it's not a political thing, but it has to be inclusive, talks to everyone. So as youths, we've seen some articles that speaks to us to have the right, to have been accorded a chance also to represent our people and our democracy environment.
Musiebo Kabira, Camnet News in Mongo District, Western Province.
Government has commenced works at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH, aimed at restoring and stabilizing water supply following persistent shortages that have disrupted service delivery at the country's largest referral medical facility. The intervention is being led by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company, LWSC, in collaboration with the Ministries of Health, water development and sanitation, infrastructure, housing and urban development, and finance and national planning. LWSC Public Relations Manager Ruth Mukua says the initial phase involves emergency works to reconfigure UTH's main water transmission pipelines. She says this includes isolating leaking ground reservoirs, redirecting water to surface steel tanks, and utilizing the old booster station to pump water directly to elevated storage tanks. She adds that additional efforts include replacing the aging water supply line from Libala to provide a backup to the Stewart Park line, which will reduce dependence on a single source. Ms. Mukua says in the medium to long term, the hospital's internal water distribution system will be comprehensively rehabilitated and training provided to the in-house technical staff to enhance maintenance. Clinical care specialist Dr. Arthur Mutuna, who represented Western Province Provincial Health Director Dr. Love Demwila, has appealed to community members across Zambia to take advantage of this week's Child Health Week by taking their children for vaccination against preventable diseases. Launching the Child Health Week vaccination scheduled for June 23rd to 28th, Dr. Mutuna stressed the crucial need for vaccination, highlighting its profound impact on children's health. The Child Health Week aims to protect children from some deadly diseases, and Dr. Mutuna has called upon parents and guardians nationwide to take their children for Child Health Week to ensure that all children receive the services lined up for the week.
The Ministry of Health in Western Province has joined the rest of the country by launching a Child Health Week running from June 23rd to 28th under the theme Building Resilient System for Universal Health Coverage, Leaving No Child Behind. Officiating the occasion, Dr. Arthur Mutuna, clinical care specialist, says governments strive to continue prioritizing interventions such as Child Health Week and has urged parents to fully participate in the activities of Child Health Week and ensure all children receive the services lined up for the week.
This Child Health Week comes at a time when Zambia has made remarkable strides in improving child health. To my fellow parents and guardians, I urge you to fully participate in the activities of Child Health Week and ensure that all children receive the services lined up for the week. Let us continue to uphold our commitment to a Zambia where no child suffers from preventable illness, where every child is fully immunized against vaccine-preventable diseases. Every child has access to nutritional support services, and where healthcare is a right, not a privilege.
And the Principal Nursing Officer, Maternal Child Health Officer, Paxina Nyanga, also added a voice describing the importance of taking care of children.
Child Health Week is very important because this is the time that we have a chance to interact with the community, with our babies. There are a lot of activities that happen actually during Child Health Week. We look at the way they are growing and we go to growth monitoring. We also give some vitamins that will help the babies to grow well. So we are encouraging our community that it's very important actually to bring our children to the facility because the immunizations that we are giving to the babies, these are immunizations that will help us to prevent some diseases like polio, tuberculosis. We call them vaccine preventable diseases.
Parents emphasize the importance of the vaccinations.
Child Health Week is very important because, traditionally we are Africans. So we say children are the future of tomorrow. So we need to take care of them, let them be healthy. And these guys are very prone to diseases than us. So wherever they are, they need to be taken care of. Like with them, bring them yourselves the way I've done. There's no need of delaying or leaving for the woman alone. So
the government and partners is committed that no child
Chief Chamuka said that with the current attractive flour price of 340 kwacha per 50 kg bag of white maize announced by government through the Food Reserve Agency (FRA), farmers are likely to sell all their harvest without thinking of the future. He added that determination of a good farmer is measured by the calculation of the right quantities of food to put in the storage for home consumption. Chief Chamuka has since called on those who wish to sell their extra harvest for income not to sell at the prices less than what the government is offering. He was speaking in an interview in Kabwe yesterday.
Safeguarding crop harvest is crucial for food security, and its importance cannot be overstated. By safeguarding harvest, we can ensure a stable food supply, promote sustainable agriculture, and improve the livelihoods of farmers and communities. It is in this view that Chief Chamuka of Central Province is advising farmers to safeguard their harvest jealously.
I'd like to advise all our people that they should guard their harvest jealously. Let us go back to our roots. In the past, determination of a good farmer was based on, first of all, calculating the rightful quantities of food or maize to put in the storage. And then from there we should have another number of bags now to sell immediately to meet our immediate needs and also reinvest in agriculture. So in short, people should avoid selling their maize to any buyer who is buying below the government floor price. But instead, let us sell to people who are buying from 340 and above, but after securing our reserves for food security.
As we speak about the harvest, it is important to recognize the interventions that contributed significantly to this good yield.
For Serenge district, we were under IVACHA for the 2024-2025 season, and our total allocation for Serenge was 19,097 beneficiaries. So the total amount that the government spent for Serenge alone for the 19,097 farmers is 160,414,800 kwacha. With these interventions, the FISIP, the SAF, the mechanization, and other government program that are being implemented in the agriculture sector, these all interventions are going towards securing our country in terms of food security.
Beneficiaries of both FISIP and SAF are happy.
Government has announced the 340 kwacha per 50 kg, which when I look at my expected yield, I'm expecting about 80 bags per hectare, which is giving me about 800 bags. So when I sell at 340, I'll get back my money, clear off the 100,000 that I got. So to the other farmers out there, I feel you need to be brave and go for the SAF loan.
Natendeke okuva kujoina mu FISI programu uno mwaka uwarenga butatumu. Nalishita ku imbushi ninkwata mu kupita mu FISI mwine kabiri na inganda nalikulako somboshi ifyo ndechetekera muri 3 mazi nala kumanisha amasaka almost 100 bags.
Helen Witt reporting from Kabwe, Central Zambia.
This is the main news on Camnet TV. We now take a break.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Television, not just another channel.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palabana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, midday news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Remember, you are catching us live on Topstar Channel 106, on Kenstream app, on Facebook, Camnet TV, as well as on our YouTube channel, Camnet TV. For the rest of the news, in international news, U.S. President Donald Trump on Tuesday confirmed that a ceasefire between Israel and Iran had come into effect, bringing an end to a 12-day conflict marked by intense cross-border attacks. Posting on his Truth Social platform, Mr. Trump urged both nations to respect the terms of the agreement and refrain from any further hostilities. The announcement followed a major missile barrage from Iran targeting southern Israel, which Tehran described as its final wave of retaliation. The strike resulted in the deaths of 4 people in the city of Beersheba. Here is a roundup of international news.
US President Donald Trump on Tuesday said a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, announced hours earlier, was now in place, ending the 12-day war. In a post on his Truth social media, he urged both countries not to violate it. The announcement came after Iran launched waves of missiles at Israel, which it described as its last round, killing 4 people. When Trump announced the ceasefire, he appeared to suggest they would have time to complete missions that were underway before it began in a staged process. While the mutual strikes continued into the early hours of the morning, both Iran and Israel have now agreed to the ceasefire.
Top Somali officials and UN representatives met in Mogadishu on Monday for the launch of Somalia's Centennial Vision 2060. Billed as a roadmap for peace, prosperity and progress, it's a framework for economic and institutional development aimed at transforming the East African nation into a middle-income country within the next 35 years.
Thankfully, Somalia is not starting from zero. So I have no doubt that the country can also carve a similarly ambitious course and succeed. The vision is therefore more than a policy document. It is a declaration of confidence, resilience, and ambition by the Somali people. As such, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa reaffirms its steadfast commitment to accompany Somalia every step of the way on this journey.
CV 2060 is the latest step in Somalia's efforts to rebuild its institutions and economy after more than 2 decades of conflict and instability. The most pressing remaining challenges include governance and security problems, food insecurity and environmental degradation, high unemployment, internal displacement and outward migration.
Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni will seek re-election for a 7th term in polls due early next year, according to a senior official from the ruling party. Museveni was widely expected to run again, but this is the first confirmation from his National Resistance Movement party. The country will hold its general elections in January 2026. Voters will choose both the president and lawmakers. At 80 years old, Yoweri Museveni has held power in Uganda since 1986. He is the 4th longest ruling leader in Africa. Under his tenure, the National Resistance Movement has changed the 1995 constitution twice to allow him to extend his rule. Museveni's biggest opponent in the 2026 polls should be Bobi Wine. The singer-turned-politician came second in the 2021 elections, but claimed the results were fraudulent. Wine has already said he intends to run again next year. Museveni has shrugged off recurring accusations that he has maintained his grip on power through patronage and intimidation. He claims his long rule is due to lasting popular support.
The session, led by athletic coach Richard Sakala, aimed to help the players recover from travel fatigue and adjust to the Moroccan environment. The recovery-focused session, conducted by athletic coach Richard Sakala and Nora Hoptel, is scheduled to lead the team's first full training session this evening, as tactical drills and match-specific preparations began in earnest. The Copper Queens, drawn in Group A, will face host Morocco, Senegal and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The 2022 WAFCON bronze medalists will open their campaign with a fixture against the Atlas Lionesses of Morocco on 5th July at the Olympic Stadium in Rabat. The penultimate match sees the Copper Queens take on Senegal on 9th July at El Bashir Stadium in Mohamedia, following by their final Group A fixture against DR Congo at the same venue on 12th July. Meanwhile, the squad received a boost with the arrival of China-based Irene Lungu and Kabange Mupopo, who joined the list of foreign-based stars in camp, such as US-based duo Barbara Banda and Rachel Kundananji, Israel-based Rachel Nachula, and China-domiciled Uyghur Frida Mukuma. That's it for our main news tonight. Here is a recap of the stories making headlines. Lungu died with his immunity intact, HH. KWACHA gains boosts economic outlook, EAZ. SEC has lost public trust, CAAC. In international news, Trump confirms ceasefire between Israel and Iran, ending 12-day conflict. And in sports news, Copper Queens hold mobility session in Casablanca. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Galatians 6, verse 9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Remember, you have been catching us live on Topstar channel 106 on Kenstream app. We've also been streaming live on Facebook, Camnet TV, as well as on our YouTube channel, Camnet TV. Thank you so much for watching. Good night and God bless you all.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.